Podcast, another Takeover Tour recap. I'm just trying to de-stress myself because I've just finished doing the Chicago one. So a little bit fired up. But we're back, ready to roll. And I'm feeling a bit good today about this one. Feeling good. Because we were back in Detroit. And they did a lot better than the last time. I think, you remember back in January, we were all a bit shocked by how much of a drop Detroit had in tennis, but I'll give you the exact numbers. So this is January the 3rd, and this was a huge day to PWHL because both expansion teams got their first ever road wins. Both the Torrent and the Golden Knights got their first ever road wins in franchise history. Torrent over TO and the Golden Knights over Boston. Both on Takeover Tour games. So this was huge. I mean, huge. So on that day, on January the 3rd, the attendance was 9,624, which is still good, but in a market like Detroit, that clearly has shown us that it wants in, and is ready for women's hockey. That's a bit of a worrying mark. But I was like, okay, it's Detroit. Maybe some people still maybe having some New Year's stuff and all that. The next will be fine. And the next one was fine. In fact, this one we just recently had was Detroit's best showing yet. Now, could that be anything to do with the fact that this game is going to be on national telly? Perhaps, maybe some bad words truly hi Mo, and all that stuff. You bunch of saddos. Have some dignity! Honestly. Complete lunatics. Just whack the sign up! Or do some flashing. Okay? Don't embarrass yourself. Embarrass your mum doesn't want to know. No, you're there, not spending time with her. Or not giving her grandkids. Okay? So, and my response to that would be, some of us don't want to have children! Anyways, we won't go there. It's not that sort of show. We won't go there. Yeah. So, obviously we did, on the day of that Takeover Tour game, we did drop the episode about our thoughts on this game being national. So that was a huge moment. We were because that announcement, literally, we found out it dropped when we were in Dublin. So we were at our gate in Dublin Airport, waiting to get on our flight to Minneapolis, and the news dropped. We were like, "What?" Yeah, that took us all a bit by surprise, but good because I think a national TV deal in the US is probably the next step forward if we want to not just grow the game, but also eventually start making some money. Because eventually, people are going to start asking, what you're doing is great, but are you making a profit out of it? And I would say to that is, fuck off, Stephen Bartlett! Fuck off! Fuck off. I prefer Deborah. Don't call her Debbie, she doesn't like it. But it didn't really feel like did it a national game, because we obviously watched it on YouTube as normal, and it just felt like a standard YouTube stream as normal. So you couldn't really tell the difference, but I'm sure those of you who did watch it on IOM, I'm sure you probably did notice a difference as well. But hey, to those of you who did watch it on IOM, I hope I had a lovely first time watching it, and if you watch more, then this year's World Cup finals are also going to be streamed live on ION in the US. That is really amazing. We haven't done our thoughts on that yet, because obviously that also was announced while we were away. So obviously it's been crazy. There's been so much news to cover on since we've been away. There's been so much to cover on there, so we'll probably get that. We might do that in the run up to the playoffs. So in the last week of the regular season, we might do it then. If we can't get it done beforehand, we'll see. Because obviously it's not because I've got a funny feeling there might be some other major news we'll need to talk about before that. But anyway, no. But for those of you who did watch on ION, we hope you had a lovely first time watching the PHL, and hopefully you will come back for more of that. The World Cup finals, whoever those two teams will be, and hopefully this might be the start of a beautiful partnership, because if that could be the way to go forward, then brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And Scripps has already done quite a lot for women's sports in general already, so they can add the PHL to their portfolio. Then I think that'd be a good in the right direction. We'll talk about that another time. Let's get to this recap, shall we? So Montreal wins 3-1 over New York in front of national US audience and largest ever Detroit crowd. Catherine Dubois scored a pair of third period goals to lead the Montreal Victoires to a 3-1 win over the New York Sirens in front of 15,938. And that is the most that Detroit has ever had in their now 4 takeover games, going all the way back to, of course, season 1, where it was just a takeover weekend. We should get you guys a loyalty card. We really should. If you're not going to have a team, we should just get you a loyalty card. We're done with it. The game, presented by Ali Financial, featured a national US broadcast on linear television for the first time in league history in partnership with Scripps Sports. The Sirens and Victoria played a tight battle through 40 minutes, with Casey O'Brien scoring New York's lone goal at 9:09 the first period, when she slipped past defenders to finish a rebound from a Jamie Bumani shot. From there, the Victoire netted 3 unanswered goals in the third period to earn 3 points in the standings. Dubois tied the game with a top shelf rip at 1:54 before grabbing her second straight game winner on a slap shot at 6:40. Alternate captain Laura Stacey followed 49 seconds later on a diving extension to deflect the puck into the net, icing the game in Montreal's favour. Both goaltenders made highlight reel saves in a back and forth battle, with Alain Desbiens turning away 23 of 24 shot space, while Kate Osborne... Does that girl ever get a break? Dear oh dear. Stopping 26 of 29 in the loss. Montreal now, with an 11-game point streak, climbs to within 2 points of first place Boston, while New York stays in 6th place and 4 points back of 4th place TO. Both teams return home to host their next matchups on Wednesday. Getting into the quotes now, we're going to start with Montreal this time. So we're going to first hear from Victoire head coach Corey Shebre on the team rebounding following a slow start, is what I should say. The players asked not to rewatch the video from the first period. We'll see how that goes. I just love the response from our group. I thought the first 40 weren't us as a team, and I think that the players decided that they were going to play our style of game in the third, and it's a hard style to play against. At the end of a road trip like this, I think to have that type of response in the third, I give a lot of credit to them. The positivity on the bench and just the will and desire to get it done. Now we're going to hear from Montreal forward and Michigan native Abby Rock on playing in front of such a great crowd in Detroit. This is what I should say. I think this market, ever since the first year, has done really well in these Takeover Tour games. I think Michigan wants a women's hockey team. Definitely. I mean, the amount of young girls who were at the game who play hockey in Michigan, it does seem to me like a perfect fit. It was really amazing to see the fans now, so how into it they are. Everybody had signs. It's a really passionate fan base, and I'm really excited if in the future they get a team. Moving on to New York now, we're going to first hear from their head coach Greg Fargo on what happened to the team going into that third period, leading 1-0. This is what I'd say. I thought today was a different story than our last few games. We got a great start. Our first period was as good as we've played. We liked how we were managing at the puck, but as the game went on, we got away from that a bit. Momentum is a funny thing. Montreal started to gain some late in the second and carried it into the third. We have to find a way to match and exceed that effort. A couple of mistakes hurt us, but overall there's a lot to like. I especially like our start, and we need to build off that moving forward. Finally, we're going to have Sirens forward Ellie Hartree on how the past 24 hours have been at home in Michigan. This is what I should say. It's been awesome being home. Tough question to answer right now. Obviously, it's about the hockey, so not getting the W is pretty disappointing. But it's great to see Hockeytown chilling out all the time and getting to be home for a bit. But you know, we've got to get back to the drawing board and get a W. Right, finally, 3 stars of the game. And they are as follows. The third star, Casey O'Brien, New York, 1 goal. The second star, Anne Desbienne, Montreal, 23 out of 24 saves. And the first star, Capri Bar, Montreal, 2 goals. Okay, so final thoughts on Detroit. Okay. I do believe this market is absolutely ready to be a permanent market full-time, the PHL. I mean, we've been visiting Little Caesars Arena every single season now. We did it in season 1 along with Pittsburgh as part of what was just the takeover weekend back then. We did it last year as part of the Takeover Tour. And just to remind you, that Takeover Tour stopped last year in Detroit. That was the moment when the league hit the 1 million attendance mark. So Detroit's got a lot of history so far in the PHL already, and it's not in an actual market yet. So that's impressive. And then obviously going twice this year. So there's no denying that Detroit is ready. And I have looked at Detroit always and thought that is a market that you can look at and think that is ready to go tomorrow. And for me, I think I did mention it last year. I'm not sure I did it on the record, or it was just with my third cheer members. But for me, it comes back to I was kind of thinking, well, these markets that feel like they're ready to go, maybe we should hold back on them a bit first and maybe focus on markets that are kind of like, you know, the diamonds in the rough. You know, markets that you would look at and think, you probably wouldn't think they would get a team, but have the most potential, and get them in first, and then you can go back to markets like Detroit, like Quebec, and put them in. Yeah, but I get what, because when I was when Detroit was announced for Takeover Tour again this year, Plymouth was just like, ugh. It's basically like Brendan from Bristol. You're joking! What, another one? Oh, I can't. No, I can't. too much PHL Detroit going on right now. Why does she need to do it? Okay, but then again, when you've got a strong market like Detroit, who's really been bringing the punters, what can we do? What do we do? So I figured a way Pluto would like Detroit guarantees, so we could then give somebody else a go. So we do feel like, yeah, Detroit, you are kind of taking away the opportunity from somebody else who could potentially do as well as you have. So just saying. Just saying there, okay? Just saying. Just saying. For me, the only issue I have with Detroit is that nobody has managed to answer me this. And that is, where are you going to play? Where are you going to play? Nobody. I keep hearing online people say, oh yeah, Detroit, yeah, put them in expansion. Yeah, fine, I'll support it, but where are you going to play? Because there's too many tenants in Little Caesar. I'm gonna list them now for you guys, okay? To really hone in my concerns. I'm going to do this right now. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Okay, so just give me a second. Because I feel very strongly about this. I mean, nothing against Detroit. I think Detroit would be a great market for the league, but where are you going to play? Because these are the current tenants that are in Little Caesars Arena right now, okay? I'm going to give you the ride as well. So you've got the Detroit Red Wings, who have been there since 2017 for the NHL. The Detroit Pistons, who've been there since 2017 for the NBA. And you have a WNBA team coming in the end of the decade in 2029. So, can you afford to really put a PHL team in there? I don't know. I don't know, would that work? But then again, about to cover it, thank you! Yeah. But then again, this could be a situation that we find Seattle in, because when we were in Minneapolis, we did hear on socials that the NBA is looking at expansion and they've got their markets locked in. They want to go to Vegas and they want to go to Seattle. And straight away, us were like, oh, no, you're not kicking them out the torrent. You're not kicking out the torrent. Because if you do go to Seattle, I know exactly where they're going to go. I know exactly where they're going to go. They'll go to Climate Pledge. And you can't get rid of the torrent. Okay? The Seattle, look at the, please, NBA, look at the Seattle Torrent's attendance records from this year. Just look at them. Okay? They've outsold. They've not just sold out, they've outsold. Okay? So, if you want to bring the NBA back to Seattle, fine, do it. But you're not going to do it at the expense of the Seattle Torrent. Okay? So, right, anyway, do we have a concrete title for that yet? Right, okay. Okay. We might do an episode on that, we'll see. But, yeah, so nobody who supports a PHL Detroit team has been able to say to me, where are you going to play? Where are you going to play? So until you can do that, I'm kind of like on the fence. Like, I mean, Denver, of course, is a market I want to see get locked in. And Detroit could be too, but it's just, I don't know if there's any other arenas in Detroit that would work. There might be some arenas outside Detroit in the Michigan State, but I don't know. I do know there are other arenas in Denver that would work, so I had them a hook on that. So just in case you are far away from me and say, well, you've not said where Denver's going to go. Well, I don't need to, it's not my team. Okay? It is my team. Okay? That's my concern. But I do know there are other arenas in Denver that will work if we do get that. So, yeah. So, when it comes to Detroit, I'm not saying no. I still have that reservation because as we saw in season 1, if you don't get your arena right, it can be a huge. I mean, look at New York. Look at New York. They've never recovered from what happened in season 1. They never did. Even the Big 4 didn't really do well with their situation because they were also wearing dual readers in season 1, and it was just like, no, put them in Plus Bell full time. With that one, luckily all's well that ended well, but with New York, they still never recovered. I mean, they've been in New Jersey, 2 seasons now, and they still have not really provided the goods. Yeah, I think New Jersey was a lot better than Connecticut. And speaking of basketball, I've been proven right about that. Happens at Connecticut. Yeah, I think they're giving me dirty looks over there. Well, I know nothing about basketball, so it's fine. Literally know nothing about it. Nothing at all. Zilch, nada. But obviously I do know what the NBA and WNBA are, so there you go. There you go. With these top tier leagues, you don't need to be involved with them to actually know what they are, and that's what the PHL is going to be one day. So a lot of you right out there, you might know a single thing about hockey, but you will know one day what the PHL is. So that's the goal in my video. That's the goal. Yeah, but you do have to wonder how much more Takeover Tour data do the PHL need before we can say, yes, Detroit, you can join us full time with your own team. But yeah, but I have to say, really impressed with Detroit. I knew they weren't going to let me down. I knew they weren't going to after Chicago. I knew they were not going to let me down. So I was really pleased with that. Yeah, they are so desperate to get a team, and they've been treated to some very good hockey over the last 3 seasons now. It is literally just a matter of time with Detroit. I really just feel it's only a matter of time before they get in, and the question is, where are they going to go in? So yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if the league has found a way, because obviously I'm just a support and advocate living in England, so I can report on the news when it breaks. I can't really give any sort of insider scoops. Okay? So who knows? Maybe the league has actually got something prepared, and they could surprise us and announce Detroit could be one of those 4 teams. Potentially. So who knows? Who knows? But I can't sit here and not say I have I can't sit here and not say I don't have reservations about a Detroit team, where I do have reservations about a Detroit team, and they still haven't been answered yet. They just still haven't been answered yet. But with Detroit, I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying infrastructure is the only thing I've got to think of where could you go. That's the only thing I've got. And we'll just take from there. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I think a lot of people will be like, they just hurry up and get them a team so someone else can have a go. I know that's what's other things. But yeah. But Detroit, thank you so much. You've been brilliant as always. We've got 2 more to go. 2 more to go now. 2 more stops to go, both in Alberta. One we're really excited for. Is the next one. Me and Leggy are so excited for next one. It's going to be a busy night. Because obviously we've got our game in New Jersey first. We are at the Sirens on it as well. So we've got that first. Then immediately after that game finishes, we'll head straight to the Takeover Tour game. It's not like last week we had to basically just put the Takeover Tour game on a delay. It's all fine. We're so excited. So thank you, Detroit, as always. And next stop, it's Calgary.